There's people. I'm back. Apologies for the lack of videos last week. Like I said in the video last week, the one video I posted, I was a bit ill last week. Wasn't really feeling it. I had a bit of college work to do as well. So I've blitzed the college work, got it redone, got it good now. And I'm back. Obviously, I was ill. Also, let's just state the obvious, the trim's not great. It's a little bit short. I'm not really the biggest fan of it. And I will be growing this back. But that's not the point. Let's just talk about this week in boxing, what's going on, what we're going to see, what to expect, what's just happened. So over the weekend, it was a bit dull. We had Claressa Shields, and that was about it. Uh, Honestly, to be honest, I can't really remember what news actually came out over the weekend. I was just a bit flat. I wasn't really doing out. But let's just talk about this week. So obviously, lack of videos last week, but I've got a show this week. We're off to York Hall on Friday night for the David Adeleye versus Amir Amatovic. I guess I don't know how to say his name. Either way, Amir Amatovic. I guess that's how you say his name. Um, he actually was like an interesting opponent. His only loss has come to Felipe Hergovic, and that was back in 2021. Obviously, he got stopped inside 3 rounds, got dropped twice in round two and once in round three, then was stopped. I'm reading off box rate, by the way. This isn't my boxing knowledge. But yeah, so that's David Adelaide's opponent. And I say this is quite big for David Adeleye. So with a win here, it seems he'll get ordered to face Fabio Wardley in like September, maybe October time. Obviously, Wardley is fighting in July 29th. That's Fabio Wardley's date. That's what we've been told. That's what I'm guessing we'll continue to hear. Um, but you never know. You never know. Um, so yeah, Adelaide's fighting Amatovic, and it's just a defense of his European title. Yeah, his WBO European title. I feel obviously without overlooking, David Adeleye is just going to be thinking about the fact that he will be fighting Fabio Wardley next with a win in on Friday night. Let's not take the piss. That's the truth. Um, so yeah, I feel like that's what he'll do. I feel like that's his plan. Um, I think we'll see him probably dismantle this guy pretty quickly again, because Amatovic hasn't fought since just over a year. Just over a year. His last fight was 21st of May last year, so a while ago. Then you see Mark Chamberlain against Marvin Demorali. Demorali. Some odd names. Cannot say these names. I'm not good with these names, am I? Demorali looks like a decent opponent. Last two fights for Demorali have both been 10 rounds, and he's won both of them on points. One of them being a majority decision, though, which is interesting. Comes in with a 12-4 record on a 3-fight winning streak. Obviously, Mark Chamberlain undefeated, 12-0 with 8 knockouts. Demorali's only got 2 knockouts in these 12 wins. But again, the running theme with this card is that it's just a lot of prospect building. There's no real 50-50 fights on this card, in my opinion. The only one that is very interesting is Henry Turner versus Tom Farrell. Henry Turner, good, very, very, very good prospect. Not just a good prospect, a very good prospect. I was holds the WBC international title. Tom Farrell has fought on the boxer tournament. He got all the way to the final and lost a split to Corey Gibbs. He just recently fought Harlem Eubank. You know, he's a solid opponent. He's a really solid opponent. A very, very good opponent for Henry Turner. You know, Henry Turner's only 22, 10-0. 3 knockouts. Tom Farrell will give him some great rounds. I think we can all expect that come Friday night. Looking at the rest of the card, you've got the Fail brothers, Ben and Carfell, both in action, both looking to get more wins under their belts. Again, very winnable fights. It's journeyman, isn't it? Tommy Fletcher's back out, looking to get his knockout streak back up and running after the points win, or just get knockouts back after the points win against fucking Daryl Sharp. Daryl Sharp being a fucking tough, mad bastard he is. Yeah. Joshua Frankham is back to go 8-0. You know, he's looking at his career so far, he's been pretty good, you know. Not seen an awful lot. He got 2 stoppages under his belt. He looks decent. He looks good. I've watched quite a few of his fights. It'll be good to watch him live. The man that I'm very excited for, the 2 men I'm very excited for in this card, who I've saved till last, Ezra Taylor and Royston Barney Smith. Royston Barney Smith is just fucking interesting, isn't he? He's a really interesting opponent. Not a really interesting fighter. Obviously, the first two fights just went the distance. That is back 3 round 1 stoppages, one in 36 seconds, one in a minute. Summit, yeah, then the other two in a minute. He's really good. He's really, really good. He's got a great team around him as well. Um, his opponent is another German, Christian Flores Lopez. Let's look. So he recently fought Danny Quartermain on the Boatsy card. I remember I was actually there for that one. Ryan Garner, Michael Gomez Jr. And he's gone to points with all of these guys. Christian Lopez Flores has been stopped twice, no, 5 times. But yeah, so I'm a big fan of Royston Barney Smith. I think he's got all the potential in the world to go and do big, big things. Then Ezra Taylor. Ezra Taylor, Nottingham's local boy, Nottingham's next best thing, in my opinion. We've got Echo Esmond, who's already the British champion. We've got Stanley Stannard, who's just lost a really close points decision to Lee Cutler. We've obviously got Lethal Lee Wood. Ezra Taylor's up and coming. 5-0 now in the light heavyweight division. He faces Khalid Gradier, who, again, coming off a points loss to Karol Talma. So, if Ezra can get him out of there, that's a massive, 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 massive statement. Not massive. No, it's not a massive statement. Let's not take the piss. But it's a big statement if you can get him out of there. Clee Garcia's only Clee Gardia. Did I say his name again? Gradier. So Gradier's only been stopped once, which was back in 2017. He's not been stopped since, and he's actually won most of his fights since. So this is a very, very good test for Ezra, especially at this stage of his career. I'm very excited to see what he can do. Very, very, very excited to see what he can do. Yeah, that's the BT card on Friday night looked at. Obviously, a little look into the heavyweight division and the British domestic scene. Johnny Fisher's fighting this weekend as well. I think the big talking point is Fabio Wardley still, and waiting to see it. I'm guessing it looks like it's going to be David Allen next. Eddie Hearn's been saying that when you've got a motivated David Allen, he can, he's good and he's good to work with. And at the moment, I think David Allen's in a very, very, very good spot, very good place. So I feel like he'll be next. I feel like he'll be next. August 12th, AJ versus White 2. Just thought I'd chuck that in there quickly. Well, they've booked the O2 for it for August 12th, but Eddie Hearn has still said they're looking at stadiums. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on from there. Let's just do a quick rundown of the Matchroom card. Fuck it. See what's cracking there. So obviously Sonny Edwards, show saver. He saved the show. It was meant to be a Josh Warrington headline. Sonny Edwards stepped in last minute. Not last minute, but he stepped in to do it instead. So you start off with Muhammad Ali. I get 1-0. Not much to say really, is there? George Ladard's back in action to go 3-0 again. Not an awful lot to say. All I can say is that he looks very good in his first 2 fights. Yeah, he has. He just has. Shannon Ryan. I'm not seeing an awful lot of Shannon Ryan, to be honest. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, really. So, like I said, I'm not seeing an awful lot from her. Mainly fought on boxer cards, from what it seems. Yeah, mainly just a person who's fought on boxer. I've not seen a lot of her fights, if I'm being honest. 8 rounds. It'll be interesting. That's what I can say. That's what I can really say. Yeah. Johnny Fisher's back. The man who sells tickets. The Romford Bull back in action against the Southpaw this time, which I think will be good. It's interesting. For the Southpaw. So obviously, like I said, Johnny Fisher's young. He's not had that big amateur background, so it's just taking him step by step. I think this is his last 8 rounder. Then it's up to 10 rounds for him. Emilio Salas, not going to sit here and say I know a lot about him because I don't. So we'll just move on. Yusuf Kamari versus Reece Bellotti. I don't think I've watched Yusuf Kamari an awful lot, to be honest. Just don't really think he's fought on an awful lot of big shows. I've just played box rec, but still, regardless, he looks good. Reece Bellotti, I've watched Reece Bellotti a couple times. it's a very good fight that's been made. I saw it again. I'm sorry, I don't know an awful lot. I know Reese Blott has fought quite a few good people though. Let's look at who Reese Blott has actually faced. Let's look at the people he's fought. Raymond Ford, John Gill, Ryan Doyle, Ryan Walsh. They're some pretty strong names. Most recently fought Dean Dodge, but that was over a year ago. Yeah, so he's not actually been in the ring for a fucking while. And all of his 5 losses have come within the last, like he's 2-5, 3-5 in his last 8. So yeah. Nina Hughes versus Katie Healy was meant to be Shannon Courtney, but she's, I think, her knee injury, we've been told. So Katie Healy steps in. She was actually meant to be in action on the Friday night in Liverpool on a Fight Zone card, but you don't get offered to fight for the world title every fucking week. The WBA World Bantamweight title, to be precise. So she took that with fucking both arms. Fair play, fair play. Then you've got Chineka, is that her name? Chineka Johnson versus Ellie Scottney for the IBF Super Bantamweight title. Ellie Scottney finally getting her world title chance. It was meant to be on the Katie Taylor bill, but there was issues between obviously Chantel Cameron and Shane McGuigan. I'm not going to get into that. I don't know what's actually happened behind closed. No one really knows what's happened behind closed doors, so it's not my place to comment. But it's just good to see Ellie Scottney get a chance. Yeah, good on her. Chineka Johnson looks like a very, 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 very solid opponent. At 15-1. Not going to say I know a lot about her again, because I don't. Now my fight of the night. The man himself, Chev Clark, in a British title eliminator. I'm going to get the poster out because I've still not got it framed. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see Chev again to get it signed. I am going to wait to meet Chev again. Here it is. Look at it. We've got the poster here. It's nicely laminated. We're just waiting. Just going to wait. When I next see Chev, we'll get it signed. But yeah, he's against David Jameson, who's a very good opponent. Very, very good opponent. Probably his toughest one yet. The man is literally his only defeats. What's that? I think. Ooh. Only defeats have come to Michael Lawal. One on the Boxer tournament, and then against Lawal again for the British title. Back in November on that Super Sunday show that Box did, which I quite liked. I actually quite like to see more of these Sunday shows. Boxing on Sunday is always quite good, isn't it? Let's look at the main event. Sonny Edwards versus Andres Campos. No one can sit here and say they know an awful lot about Andres Campos. What we can sit here and say is that Sonny Edwards is a very good talker and a very, very good, even better fighter. I'm actually going to say an even better fighter. Good card. I'd say it's a solid card. World title triple header. With a good undercard. It is a solid undercard. Yeah, it's about it from me, to be honest. If you've enjoyed, like, subscribe, comment. We'll keep pushing for the sponsorship because that's what I'm looking for. And I think we should tune in for Sonny Edwards because Sonny Edwards is solid. I am going to just sit and say I know like scripting. I'm a big fan of Sonny Edwards. I've been a big fan of Sonny Edwards for a very, very long time. So I do want to see him unify. I put it on Twitter yesterday. I was watching his interview with Boxing Social. He's so clever, so smart, and that smartness in his brain. Obviously, has it when he speaks, but he also has it in the ring. Because he's beating these guys without even knocking them out, which shows that he's even better, really. Because you can like lose a fight and win by knockout, but Sonny Edwards just wins all like most of his fights by points. So I'm really excited to see him back. It's a very, very entertaining fight. I don't know why the mic's falling. We're still rocking the headset mic. Come on now, we are going to improve soon. I've ordered better equipment. So yeah, but yeah, see you all tomorrow. Maybe I might come pop on with a little video. Depends. I'll see what's popping really. But yeah, thank you for watching again, and yeah, adios.